So doing it myself saved, what, close to $33,000 by doing it myself. Hey there, are you thinking about building an outdoor kitchen? If so, this video is something you might want to watch. Hey guys, my name is Chris Webb and I'm from East Tennessee, and I just finished our outdoor kitchen just a couple of weeks ago actually. And actually after I finished the kitchen, I posted a couple pictures of it on Facebook. I was proud of it and whatnot. And I've had an enormous amount of people sending me messages about it and texts and calling me, and just a lot of people showing a lot of interest because I guess there's a lot of people thinking about an outdoor kitchen for themselves. And so I thought, well, what a great opportunity to make a video. And so I wanted to come on here and make this video. I wanted to show you what I built, wanted to show you, what it was, what is the size of it, and then ultimately, what did it cost? I remember before I started, I was searching all over the internet and YouTube and various places, trying to look at completed projects to give me a sense of what materials were used, and then ultimately, what did it cost? And a lot of people talked about their outdoor kitchens, but few actually shared what it cost. And so I hope that this video helps you, at least gives you one example, one point of reference. And so to tell you a little bit about the process and how it came about. So we built this house 2 years ago, and we knew we wanted an outdoor kitchen. That was always part of the plan. And you can see over here to the right of the grill, kind of underneath the window, we did already have a natural gas line or port that was there. I also had water there as well as electric there. And then luckily we had already put a drain in the area approximately, where the sink would be sitting. And so that certainly helped. That saved what I'd estimate at least a couple of $1,000s, because we already had those in place. But to tell you what my journey looked like, first thing I did was I called a guy in town that's known as a really good custom outdoor kitchen designer. And I had him come out, and I met with him, and we talked about where I wanted it to be. We talked about the size that I wanted it. We talked about the appliances, what was important to me and what wasn't. And, so after that meeting, he said, give me a couple of days and I will email you a project estimate. And so right on time, as he told me he would, he emailed me a sketch, kind of a 3D rendering, if you will, of what he came up with. And it was, sure enough, it was exactly what we had talked about. I loved it. Flipped over to the second page, and that's where my blood pressure rose. I couldn't believe it. I absolutely couldn't believe it. It far exceeded what I was anticipating. I don't mind sharing you these numbers because that's sort of the point of the video. So this custom outdoor kitchen designer gave me a quote that didn't include three things. For whatever reason, he left out the cost of the refrigerator, because he said, well, sometimes people get picky on the refrigerator, so I don't know what refrigerator you're gonna go with, but it doesn't include the refrigerator, it doesn't include your stone exterior, and it does not include your countertop, but it includes everything else. The structure, the electrical, the plumbing connection, connecting the drain, and the rest of the appliances. And much to my surprise, I was looking at a number of $43,800. Again, I was really surprised. I mean, this is a nice outdoor kitchen. It meets our needs, but man, I was not seeing that kind of money. But the one thing he did give me a value again was this sketch and this rendering. And I posted this sketch and this rendering into a Facebook group around outdoor kitchens. And that proved to be a really good thing, because not only was I able to get a lot of people's input that had already built kitchens, People, some people were saying, hey, that sounds about right, believe it or not. It's 2023. Some people were like, no, that's way too much, man. He's gouging you. And then several people said, man, don't underestimate yourself. These kitchens you're not building a space shuttle. These are not that difficult. If you take your time, plan properly, and don't get in a hurry, you can do it yourself. And I ended up having a fella see my post in Florida. And I guess his business is the fabrication of these outdoor, kitchens. And so he sent me a proposal based on my sketch and based on those dimensions. He sent me a proposal to weld it up and to ship it to me. It was $2,800 to weld up the structure, and then I think another $650 to bring it up to Tennessee from Florida. And thought about that for a while and ultimately decided, hey, I'm gonna give that a shot. So I did. I ordered that from him. He brought it up. They just basically delivered it over into the grass, and we brought it over and set it in place. And so one of the things that I did, of course, was using those blue concrete screws, those anchors, is I anchored it into the concrete as well as I anchored it into the post there. And of course, I've got a picture here to show you kind of what that looked like. But once that was in, I went to Home Depot and I bought Hardy Backer, that cement board, cut all those to size, and then screwed those into that aluminum frame. It took a while, but it's not rocket science. It wasn't that big a deal, really. And so got all that done. And then after that, I had an electrician come out and wire it up. There's not a lot to the wiring. We've got the grill and the power burner. We've got little LEDs on there that just, I guess, show you that they're on. Obviously, the refrigerator needs power, and then we've got one outlet here on the end. Wasn't a big electrical job by any means, but I think that cost me a couple of $100. I had a buddy of mine that does HVAC come out and connect the natural gas. And then as far as the plumbing, because my drain was already, coming up out of the floor 1 inch, I was able to plumb that up myself, really not that big a deal. And so once those things were done, I contacted the stone company. They had already ordered the stone several weeks prior, but I let them know I was ready. And so they came out and they did that stonework, and I think they did a really good job. It turned out really nice. That stone matches the stone on the fireplaces in our house and the front of the house, so it all kind of looks like it's part of an original plan. But that stone did not end up costing me very much. I think the stone, all the way around installed price was $2,300, which I thought was very reasonable. And then while they were doing that, we started shopping for granite for the countertops. And, when it comes to countertops, there's a lot of options out there, but I don't know that there's a lot of good options. I read extensively about countertops and I sought the advice of a lot of people. What I really wanted was soapstone, if you've ever seen soapstone. But what I learned through talking with people is that soapstone would not be a good option out here. It was probably could probably end up cracking and possibly discoloring. The evening sun or the afternoon sun is right there. And so it just kind of cooks that countertop in the afternoon. And I don't think it would have held up well. The people that sell stone basically told me, if you're gonna go with stone, you need to go with a granite. And so we ended up going with a granite, a leathered granite, and we're pretty happy with it. But one thing that's worth noting on here, if you're gonna do an outdoor kitchen and you're thinking about granite, chances are it's gonna cost you more than you thought. Going back to that outdoor kitchen designer that does this every day, he had told me to plan on it being about $2,500 for that granite, and that sounded pretty reasonable to me. And the first granite place that I went to, I had the sketch, and I showed them, what I was wanting. And when you go to these granite places and to pick out your granite, a lot of times they'll have you got all these different granites and colors and stuff, but you've got like the level 1, the level 2, the level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the higher that number, just letting you know as you're shopping around that is a more exotic or a more rare and ultimately a more expensive one. And we weren't in that category. I think we were looking in like the 3-4 range. So it's kind of a middle of the range price point for the granite that we wanted. And again, I wasn't anticipating anything crazy until later that afternoon when they sent me the estimate for $12,000 for that countertop. And that's not what I was prepared for. That was what, 4 or 5 times what I was thinking. And when I questioned it, why so much? I don't understand. You know, the justification that they gave me was that with these outdoor kitchens, there tends to be a lot more on-site fabrication. And maybe that's the case. I mean, there was a good bit of on-site fabrication going on, but hey, at the end of the day, they got this thing installed and all done in one day. So yeah. So anyway, I ended up going to another granite place, and while they were cheaper, it still was crazy expensive. I think for what I got, it was still $8,300 for the granite countertop. But anyway, you know, at the end of the day, we're happy with the quality and we're happy with the way that it turned out. As far as the appliances that we went with, we ended up going with a refrigerator by Blaze that we're really happy with. This 3-drawer stainless steel, you know, like storage cabinet. The top one is actually holds a paper towel out of the rain. That's pretty convenient. And then this sink, and I believe the sink is made by Barbecue Guys, not by Blaze, but by Barbecue Guys. I think they manufacture it themselves. It's got like this built-in cutting board. So really like the sink. Glad we made that choice. And then this power burner here, not to be confused with a side burner. The power burner is able to boil a large pot of water really, really fast. We anticipate doing quite a few low country boils out here, and I wanted to be able to get a pot of water boiling quickly. Then we've got trash here, and then ultimately as far as the grill, we decided to go with the Blaze 40-inch grill, and we've used it a few times now, and we really like this. I wondered how anybody can charge that kind of money for just a grill, but I've kind of come to realize that the quality of these are really high. So anyway, that's a little bit about the appliances. One thing, if you're in any type of a setup similar to what I am here, where you know the house is here and the grill's going to be away from the house, detached a little bit, is if you notice these holes down here in the mortar, there's little holes down there, and the purpose of those little holes is to allow for rainwater that blows in here to be able to drain back out and not just be trapped in this area. So something to be aware of as you make your plan for an outdoor kitchen. Hey, here's a pro tip, something that actually somebody told me and I didn't listen. I didn't make note until it was too late. But when you buy these appliances, they come with a plastic film on them for protection. And somebody had told me, hey, make sure before your masonry guys come out that you remove that film, because it wraps around these corners, and they'll just mortar right on top of it. So make sure you do that. Well, I didn't listen, and I came home that afternoon, and they had installed the mortar and the stone and all that stuff. And guess what? All that plastic was in that mortar. And so I had to get in here with an X-Acto knife, or truthfully, my wife had to get in here with an X-Acto knife and cut it all out. But anyway, that's kind of a close-up of this outdoor kitchen and the layout of it. Let's see here. Kind of see that. Anyway, guys, that's the outdoor kitchen there that we built. So anyway, final tally for those that are curious, ended up being just over $23,000. Compare that to if I would have went with that designer, I would have spent the $43,800 plus the cost of the refrigerator, the cost of the stone, and the cost of the countertop, which would have totaled over $56,000. So doing it myself, saved close to $33,000 by doing it myself. And I've got to tell you, don't overthink it. If you take your time, just as the guy told me, you can do it yourself. You can do a lot of it yourself. And what you can't, you just subcontract out. And it saved me a fortune. I'm really glad that those people encouraged me to just take on the project myself and save the money. And again, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So anyway, I hope I accomplished my goals here. I hope I brought you some value. Again, I just wanted to show, what a finished project looks like. How big is it? Hey, I didn't tell you how big it is. So that first run there where the grill and the sink is, that's 13 feet. And then this area over here, this angle above the refrigerator, that's about 8 feet. So you got about 21 linear feet, give or take, is the size of this. It's 3.5 feet deep. So anyway, again, I hope you got some value out of this video. I do appreciate you watching. And I plan to make a couple other videos for things I've done around this place that I've done either entirely myself or I've subcontracted it out myself that have turned out well, and I've saved a good bit of money. And if you like that and you're interested in that, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Have a good day.